Bernard, is it important? I have to finish these cabinet defence papers.
I'm afraid this is much more urgent, Minister.
What is it?
Your Christmas cards, Minister. They cannot be postponed any longer.
Right. Which is which?
Well, they're all clearly labelled, Minister. These you signed Jim, these you signed Jim Hacker, these Jim and Annie, these Annie and Jim Hacker, these love from Annie and Jim. Oh, those are printed and those have cyclo-styled signatures, so you needn't write anything. Just check to make sure they don't include cards that should have been personally signed Jim or Jim Hacker or Jim and Annie or Annie and Jim Hacker or love from Annie and Jim.
What about those?
Oh, those are the constituency cards. Your election agent dropped them off this morning. As you see, they've been divided up. Those you signed Jim, those you signed Jim Hacker, those Jim and Annie, those Annie and Jim Hacker, those...
Thank you, Bernard. I think I've got the gist. Is that the lot?
Apart from the ones waiting for you at party headquarters.
Party headquarters? I didn't do those last Christmas.
Well, you weren't party chairman last year.
Do I have to send this one?
Why not?
It's to Maurice in Brussels. He's the one who forced through the plan to standardise the Euro sausage.
Euro?
By the end of next year, we shall be waving goodbye to the good old British sausage. And we'll be forced to accept some foreign muck like salami or bratwurst or something in its place.
Well, they can't stop us eating the British sausage, can they?
They can stop us calling it the sausage, though. Apparently it's got to be called the emulsified high-fat offal tube.
And you swallowed it?
It's my job to implement EEC regulations. Could finish my career.
But what have they got against our sausage?
Oh, dear. Don't you ever read the papers you give me?
Well, yes, I glanced at it, Minister, but it rather put me off.
Apparently, there's not enough meat in it. The average British sausage consists of 32.5% fat, 6.5% rind, 20% water, 10% rusk, 5% seasoning, preservative and colouring, and only 26% meat, which is mostly gristle, head meat, other offcuts, and mechanically recovered meat steamed off the carcass. I don't feel particularly... I had one for breakfast.
Perhaps the EEC Commissioner is right.
You may be right, but it'd be extremely unpopular with the voters. Oh, well, we shall just have to grit our teeth and bite on the bullet.
You can't bite a bullet if you're gritting your teeth, Minister. You see, if you do that, you can't get the bullet.
Sorry. By the way, Bernard, you were going to advise me what presents it would be suitable to give to the private office.
Well, of course, that's entirely up to you, Minister. Bottles of sherry for the assistant secretaries, large boxes of House of Commons mints for the diary secretary and the correspondence secretary, and small boxes of House of Commons mints for the rest.
What about my personal private secretary?
Oh, that's me.
Yes, of course. What should I give you?
Well, you don't have to give me anything.
I know that, Bernard, but I'd like to.
Oh, Minister. Well, anything, really.
Such as?
Well, really, I would like a surprise.
What sort of surprise should I give you?
A bottle of champagne's the customary surprise.
What time is my meeting with Humphrey?
Oh, that's been cancelled, Minister. Sir Humphrey had to rush away to an urgent meeting with the Cabinet Secretary.
The Cabinet Secretary? This makes me feel rather nervous. You know, in some ways, Sir Arnold is the most powerful chap in the country. Permanent access to the PM, controls Cabinet agenda, controls access to everything. I wonder what he's up to. Enjoying yourself?
Yes, thank you, Minister.
Enjoying yourself?
Lovely party.
Yes, Minister, it's frightfully good fun.
Always good to let your hair down, isn't it? Right. Now, I think it's time I said a few words. This is a very, very special occasion for us all. Peace on earth, goodwill to all men. Sorry, persons. It's always good to have this little get-together amongst the people who serve me, work with me, with me here at the Department of Administration. The Ministry of Administration. At the DAA. We're a team. They're like the Cabinet. Except we're all on the same side. Not that the Cabinet... No, well, I meant... Really, the shadow Cabinet. Yeah, let's keep politics out of this. Season of goodwill. That's why Parliament doesn't sit over Christmas, eh? Season of goodwill. even to one's officials. Well, what can I say? Humpy.
Sir Humphrey Appleby.
Thank you very much. I would just like to thank you all for all the hard work you've done all these years. An occasion like this engenders a certain emotional ambiguity and personal ambivalence.
What's ambiguous about it?
While one is, one should say, honoured by the cause of one's departure, one is saddened by the fact of it. In particular, saddened by having to leave the service of a minister without parallel in one's experience.
That's jolly
And
decent.
break a unique partnership.
Absolutely unique.
So, I should end, I think, by wishing a happy Christmas to you all, but in particular to a minister whom, in the brief time that we've had him with us, we've watched grow in standing, in stature, and in sureness of touch. So, seasonal felicitations to you all, but please, please do remember the Home Secretary's campaign for the holidays. Don't drink and drive this Christmas.
I'll drink to that.
I do wish you'd let me drive, Jim.
I'm driving perfectly safely.
We do have to get home before dawn.
Good evening, Constable.
I see your license, sir.
Yes, certainly.
Aren't you Mr. Jim Hacker?
Yes, that's right. What's just a bit of trouble?
Any reason you were driving so slowly?
Well, I didn't want the curb to hit. I didn't want to hit the curb. Hey, look, I've got a silver badge somewhere.
I see. Perhaps you'd like Constable Evans to drive you the rest of the way.
Oh, no, it's all right, officer. I'll drive.
All right, Mrs. Hacker. If you're in a proper state to drive.
Oh, I don't drink, officer. Well, not when my husband's driving.
Oh, nor do I. Hardly.
How are things at the campaign for the freedom of information, by the way?
Sorry, I can't talk about that. So, will the new PM be our eminent Chancellor or our distinguished Foreign Secretary?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Which do you think it should be?
Difficult. Like asking which lunatic should run the asylum.
The trouble is, they're both interventionists. They'd both have foolish notions about running the country themselves if they became Prime Minister.
Have we any allies?
Oh, quite a few, yeah. The Chief Whip, particularly. And he's worried that whichever gets the job will antagonize the other's supporters and split the party.
So we're looking for a compromise candidate.
Malleable,
Flexible.
likable,
No firm opinion.
no bright ideas.
Not intellectually committed.
Without the strength of purpose to change anything.
Someone who you know can be manipulated, professionally guided.
And leave the business of government in the hands of the experts. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's impossible.
Why, a lot of the government would welcome a, shall we say, less interventionist leader.
Well, not the other two candidates.
They might be persuaded.
Want to stand aside?
Yes. Have you had a chance to glance at their MI5 files?
No.
Oh, you should always send for cabinet ministers' MI5 files if you enjoy a good laugh.
Hello.
Oh, Bernard.
Sir, just...
Thank you very much. Yes, do sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right. So, this is our very last piece of DAA business. isn't it?
Yes, I'm afraid so, Sir Humphrey.
Oh, well. Bernard, Just let me ask you something. What would you say to your present master as the next Prime Minister?
The minister?
Yes.
Mr. Hacker.
Yes.
As Prime Minister?
Yes. Are you in a hurry?
No, I'm just checking to see it wasn't April the 1st.
Are you suggesting that your minister is not up to the job of Prime Minister?
Oh, no, Sir Arnold, it's not for me to, well, I mean, of course I'm sure he's, oh, gosh.
There is a considerable body of opinion that can see many advantages in the appointment.
For Britain.
For Britain.
Yes, well, yes.
So we trust you to ensure that your minister does nothing incisive or divisive over the next few weeks.
Avoids anything controversial.
Expresses no firm opinion about anything at all. Now, is that quite clear?
Yes, well, I think that's probably what he was planning to do anyway.
Minister.
Humphrey, what's all the hurry?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I've just been able to arrange a brief meeting with the European Commissioner.
Norris, but he's flown out this morning.
No, his flight's been delayed.
Oh, so?
Well, I think we might be able to persuade him to solve our little sausage problem.
Humphrey, how?
Well, excuse me. Yes? Oh, yes. Ask him to come in, will you? Thank you. Leave it to me. Just give me support when I ask for it. Maurice, very nice to see you. You know each other.
Yes, sir, Jim. To what do I owe this pleasure?
The minister asked me to arrange this little meeting to see if you could help us with a problem.
Problem? Of course.
Now, the problem is that the EEC is becoming very unpopular over here. Isn't that so, Minister?
Very unpopular.
And you want to restore its image?
Yes.
No.
No.
And the problem is that the minister feels that there would be more votes, that he would be better expressing the views of the British people by joining the attack on the EEC than by leaping to its defense.
Exactly.
But your government is committed to support us.
The minister's point, as I understand it, is that the government's commitment is to the concept and to the treaty.
Treaty.
It's not committed to the institutions, nor to the practices, nor to individual policies. The minister was giving me an example the other day, weren't you, Minister? About food production.
Oh, yes. I've discovered that one of your officials spends all his time paying farmers to produce masses of surplus food, while somebody in the next office pays people to destroy the surpluses.
That's not true.
No.
He's not in the next office, not even on the same floor.
And the minister has hundreds of similar examples, haven't you, Minister? And the nub of the problem is that the minister is beginning to think that some member of the cabinet ought to start telling the British people about them.
That would be intolerable. Even the Italians wouldn't stoop that low.
The Italians aren't being asked to redesignate salami as emulsified, high-fat offal tubing.
And what are you proposing? After all, we are committed to harmonization. We cannot call it the sausage. What do you suggest?
Well, politics is about presentation. Why don't we call it the British sausage?
British sausage. Saucisse anglaise. Salsicce inglese. British Wurst. Yes, I think we could. Recommend that to the Commission.
Splendid. The minister's always said that the EEC is a splendid institution, haven't you, Minister?
Splendid.
Today's big story about the proposed European ban on the British sausage has caused a major political storm. Westminster sources say the sausage could be another banana skin. This can only add to the government's problems with the succession. Senior people in the party are increasingly troubled by the fact that the two obvious candidates for the leadership represent the extreme wings of the party. Pressure is mounting for them to withdraw in favor of a compromise candidate, but none of the other contenders so far seems to have caught the public imagination. Now sport. There
Turn
are
it
only
off, Tom.
2 matches in the calendar.
Is that true? About the compromise candidate?
I believe so.
Where do they get their information from?
I can't imagine, but... Anyway, I never said compromise. I said moderate.
Incidentally, Minister, why are BBC Television and ITN covering your speech this evening?
I can't imagine, Bernard.
I mean, I know that fire and safety policy in government buildings is awfully important.
Someone suggested that I was going to raise other issues as well.
Who?
Can't imagine, Bernard. I am a good European. I believe in the European ideal. Never again shall we repeat the bloodshed of the 2 world wars. Europe is here to stay. But this does not mean that we have to bow the knee to every directive from every little bureaucratic Bonaparte in Brussels. We are a sovereign nation still. We are British and proud of it. We have made enough concessions to the European Commissar for Agriculture, and when I say Commissar, I use the word advisedly. We've swallowed the wine lake, we've swallowed the buttermilk, we've watched our French friends beating up British lorry drivers carrying good British lamb to the French public. We have bowed and scraped and doffed our caps, tugged our forelocks, and turned the other cheek, but I say enough is enough. The Europeans have gone too far. They are now threatening the British sausage. They want to standardize it, by which they mean they'll force the British people to eat salami and bratwurst and other garlic-ridden, greasy foods. Alien to the British way of life. Do you want to eat salami for breakfast with your egg and bacon? I don't. And I won't. They've turned our pints into litres and our yards into meters. We gave up the tanner, the threepenny bit, the 2-bob piece, and the half-crown, but they cannot and will not destroy the British sausage. Not while I'm here. In the words of Martin Luther, here I stand.
Minister, a message came through from Central House while you were in Cabinet Committee.
Yes, yes.
They brought the party meeting forward. It started an hour ago.
Brought it forward?
Yes, any moment now the committee will have decided whether or not they're going to bring up another candidate to oppose you in the election. But the Chief Whip will be phoning through the moment it's over.
Will they, what if they have... Which phone?
What?
Which phone will he ring on?
Oh, this one, probably. Or this one. Either, really.
The only danger is if Duncan and Eric withdraw, which they will, they might not support me, and that'll mean an election.
Yes, quite, but I understand that you're the favourite candidate for both factions, in which case you'd be unopposed.
That's what they say. Oh, well. No point in worrying about it. Might as well sit down, relax.
Yes. 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 Bernard has an urgent message.
Minister, the Palace have been on the phone.
The Palace? The Palace? Why?
They want to know if you'll be free to kiss hands at 5 o'clock. That's only in the event of an unopposed recommendation.
I think I might be able to make that. Bernard, suppose that, if I should still want a principal private secretary. Do you think...
Oh, Minister. Gosh.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it, Humphrey?
Well, the Prime Minister's word is law, Minister. Yes. Yes. Yes, he's here. I'll tell him. Yes, Prime Minister.